The phone buzzed once on the kitchen counter. A single vibration that sliced through the quiet like a scalpel. I glanced down and saw her name, Sarah, lighting the screen. The message was short, brutal, final. Don't contact me. My thumb hovered, heart already sprinting ahead of my brain. 5 years of marriage, 2 kids asleep upstairs, and this was how she ended it? I typed back before the anger cooled. Then don't come home. Send. The words left me shaking, but I didn't take them back. Silence answered. Then the phone erupted, call after call, her photo flashing like a strobe. I let it ring, each vibration a hammer against my ribs. Finally I answered on the 7th. What? I said, voice flat. Open the door, she whispered. Please. I hadn't heard the car. Hadn't heard anything over the blood in my ears. I crossed the living room, yanked the door wide, and there she stood on the porch, cheeks streaked, hair wild from the wind. She held her purse like a shield. Behind her, the streetlight caught the glint of a second car idling at the curb, his car. Turn it off, I said, nodding toward the headlights. She didn't move. The driver killed them himself. I recognized the silhouette. Mark from accounting, the one who always lingered at company picnics, asking Sarah about her garden. She stepped inside, shutting the door on him. The house smelled of the lasagna I'd reheated for dinner, now congealing on the stove. I didn't mean, she started. You meant every word. I cut her off. My voice sounded foreign, like someone else's grief. Don't contact me. That's what you wrote. Sarah's knees buckled. She caught the back of the couch. I was scared. He said if I didn't end it with you, he'd what? I laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Tell your husband you've been sleeping together for 6 months? Her eyes widened. She hadn't known I knew. I hadn't known until yesterday, when I'd opened her laptop to print me a school form and found the chat still open. Messages timestamped during our anniversary trip, during Leo's fever last winter, during the nights she'd claimed book club ran late. I'd read them all, each one a fresh wound, then closed the lid and pretended to sleep beside her. I was going to tell you, she said, now voice cracking. I swear. When? I asked. After you moved into his condo? After you took the kids on the weekends he wasn't traveling. She flinched as if I'd struck her. Upstairs, Leo coughed in his sleep. We both froze, listening. When the house settled again, Sarah whispered, I love you. The words hung between us, obscene in their familiarity. I'd heard them that morning over coffee, last week when she kissed me goodbye, every day for half a decade. Now they felt like counterfeit bills. Love doesn't lie for 6 months, I said. Love doesn't let someone else touch what's mine. Tears spilled down her cheeks. It wasn't about you being lacking. It was me. I felt invisible. You're always at the office, always on calls. Mark listened. Mark listened while he undressed you in a hotel I paid for with my bonus. I stepped closer. I saw the charges, Sarah. The Ritz-Carlton. February 14th. Remember? You told me you were with Jenna. Her sob broke loose. She sank to the carpet, knees first, then forehead to the floor like a penitent. I wanted to kneel, to gather her up the way I had the night Mia was born, when Sarah had cried from exhaustion and joy. Instead I stood rooted, watching the woman I'd built a life with unravel. The doorbell rang. 3 sharp chimes. Mark. Sarah scrambled up. Don't, she begged, but I was already moving. I opened the door to his polished shoes, his expensive coat. He looked past me to Sarah. You okay, babe? The endearment hit me like a fist. Get off my porch, I said quietly. He ignored me, reaching for her. Come on. We'll figure this out. Sarah hesitated, eyes flicking between us. In that moment I saw the calculation, comfort versus chaos, new versus known. My chest caved. Choose, I said. The word scraped my throat raw. Mark's hand closed around her wrist. Sarah looked at me, really looked, and I saw the girl I'd met at 22, the one who'd laughed so hard at my terrible jokes she'd snorted wine. That girl was gone, drowned in 6 months of secrets. I'm sorry, she whispered. Then she stepped toward him. I slammed the door before they reached the threshold. The deadbolt clicked like a gunshot. Through the frosted glass I watched their shadows merge, then separate as his car door opened. Engine taillights gone. The house exhaled. I slid down the wall until I sat on the cold tile, head in my hands. Upstairs, Mia's nightlight glowed pink through the banister rails. I thought of tomorrow's school drop-off, packed lunches, the lie I'd have to tell them about Mommy's business trip. My phone buzzed again. Not Sarah this time. A text from an unknown number. This isn't over. She'll come back to you broken. I'll make sure of it. Mark. I deleted it, then opened the photo gallery. Our wedding picture stared back. Sarah in white, me in awe. I pressed delete. The image vanished, but the ache stayed, a bruise blooming under bone. Hours later, when the sky outside turned dishwater gray, I climbed the stairs. Leo had kicked off his blanket. I tucked it around his small shoulders. Mia clutched her stuffed giraffe. I kissed their foreheads, tasting salt from my own tears. Downstairs, I poured the lasagna into the trash, plate and all. The crash of ceramic echoed. Then I opened Sarah's side of the closet. Her clothes hung in neat rows, smelling of her perfume. I pulled out the red dress she'd worn on our first date, held it to my face, inhaled the ghost of us. Then I carried armfuls to the lawn, struck a match, watched flames devour silk and cotton and every promise we'd made. By dawn the fire had died to embers. I stood barefoot in the dew, smoke curling around my ankles. My phone lay cracked on the driveway where I'd thrown it. No more calls, no more messages. Just the sound of my own breathing, ragged and new. Inside, the kids would wake soon. I'd make pancakes, tell them Mommy had to leave early for work. I'd smile until my face cracked. And somewhere across town, Sarah would wake in Mark's bed, realizing too late that the word home had burned to ash in my front yard. I turned back to the house. The door stood open, waiting. I stepped over the threshold, closed it softly behind me, and began the long, impossible work of becoming a man who could survive without the woman he'd loved more than air.